Hey guys, here today with another knife video. Today we have in front of us the Konygin Crow. Now Konygin is a maker that is based in Russia. He isn't quite as well known as a knife maker in the West as, say, Sergei Shirogorov, but he has a lot of successful collaborations with CKF Custom Knife Factory. The most popular one I think would have to be the Decepticon, and if you've seen that knife, you can probably draw similarities here with the design language. His design language is very strong and very unique, and because of that I actually really like him as a maker. I'm hoping to get one of his knives eventually at some point. But today we have in front of us the Crow. Now this knife was sent in by a friend who insisted that I take a look at it, and after seeing it in person I can definitely see why. This knife is absolutely gigantic. Size comparisons don't even make sense anymore because this knife is gigantic. The Stellar has a 3.75 inch cutting blade, and this just completely dwarfs it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the measurements here with this kind of I don't even know how to describe it, just double recurve blade, I guess. We're looking at 5.5 inches of cutting length here if you just measure straight across, and an overall length open of 11.5 inches open. Man. Closing the knife here and taking a look at it closed, you can see that the knife is coming in at around just a little bit under, or just a little bit over 6 3/4 inches. Taking a look at the weight here, you can see that this beast of a knife weighs in at 11.22 ounces. Man, that's more than twice as heavy as an F95-0, which is coming in at about 5 ounces. So incredibly hefty knife, large, very large piece. Now, taking a look at the blade here, you can see that the blade is made out of Vinland Damasteel, an incredibly large piece of Damasteel here. Really interesting blade design here. The holes in the blade kind of match the motif that's going on here on the handle. You can see that there are multiple grinds here, first, second, and the third sweeping one here. Very complex profile on the blade here. Now, this one being in Damasteel is, I think, very attractive, especially having such a nice polished etch here on the blade and having such a large piece of Damasteel, but I think the grind is much more impressive on the mono steel versions, just so you can see the complexity of the grinds here on the primary bevels. You can see we have thumb studs that also act as stop, I guess, the stop pin area here. These lugs really do, the knife is very interesting to open. The lock mechanism here is a tail lock, as you can see. But just because of the heft of the blade, I don't know if it's because of the heft of the blade, the location of the studs, but opening this is a little bit unintuitive at first. So you kind of have to get the right angle. Very interesting opening mechanism, but it does work once you get the hang of it, and is absolutely amazing. You can see here we have the jimping up on top that allows you to really choke up on it. This cut right here allows you to get your fingers in and snug up on the blade, which is quite impressive, especially given my smallish hands here. Moving on to the handle, you can see that we have this multi-layer design with skeletonizations happening on each layer. The base, I guess you could call them liners here, are made out of titanium, and then we have a zirconium overlay. Now, both the titanium liner and the zirconium overlay are skeletonized, so we get this very interesting stacking effect here when looking at the handle, even when the blade is deployed here. We also have these bronze pivots with Konigin's signature screw design, kind of this asymmetric offset, very thin flat head type arrangement here. Just something very unique and eccentric, just like the entire design of this knife. So I think that fits very well with the aesthetic. You can see here on the other side of the knife, we have a similar skeletonization. Nothing too much to see. There's really no differentiation between the lock side and the show, or there is no lock side between either side, since this is a tail lock here. Moving on to the back though, you can see that the lock is a very interesting affair. We have a very, very long, thick piece of Damasteel here that also has jimping on the back. And there is also the tail, of which the lock, which allows you to actuate the lock and unlock it. That also has a pivot point right here. So if you take a look, you can see that pressing down on the tail allows this area to pivot and pull the Damasteel lock back, as you can see here. So very nice design, and you can see that's what actually locks the blade. Now, I've taken this knife apart. There are actually roller bearings inside plastic cages. There are two sets of roller bearings, one for the pivot portion of the knife, and then one in the rear for the tail lock mechanism as well. So very smooth action on these roller bearings. You can see here on the tail of the lock, on the inside of the tail lock, we have Konigin's signature and also the date at when this knife was made, which is July 2019. That's pretty much it for the knife. Now, my friend did have this knife made with an accompanying holster, which I really wanted to talk about, and something that we don't really go over too much, but this was just too amazing of a piece to not discuss in the video. So you can see here, we have a holster made by Vadim. Most of you guys know him as Nasgul on Instagram, Nasgul RU. He's also based in Russia, does excellent leather work. And you can see here we have a holster for this knife. Now, this is not just a holster that goes on your belt. This has entire shoulder strap kind of assembly going on here. We have these custom titanium hardware that has been machined. This buckle too has been done CNC machined from titanium. And if you take it apart here, you can actually see there's Nasgul's logo here milled directly into the buckle. Looks like the finish here on the titanium components is a sandblast and looks very attractive when combined with the quality leather work. If I remember correctly, I believe this is camel leather. Don't quote me on that. I am not versed in leather work at all, but having owned some quality pieces from Vadim, holsters, belt holsters and stuff like that, his work is always quality. I really do like, not only has he custom fitted the outline of the main body portion of the holster for the knife, but he has even added this extra overlay on the holster to kind of match with the aesthetics of the skeletonization on the crow itself. Really excellent work and excellent eye to detail. And you can see here, the knife fits quite securely, and you sling this over your shoulder and just pop this open and it's ready to go. Really excellent accessory here for the knife. Let's see here, there we go. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I really appreciate my friend sending this one in, since it's such a unique piece, not only the design language, but just the overall size and heft of the knife itself. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time.